If you didn't know already, The Elder Scrolls Online will be taking us to some dark new places when its latest expansion, Necrom, arrives on June 5th. At Xbox On, we're all so excited for this expansion, so we thought we'd help shed a bit of light by answering all of your biggest questions on Necrom. Now, Henry, let's start with the story.
Necrom adds a seductively shadowy new chapter to the Elder Scrolls Online's tale as part of the ongoing Shadow over Morrowind storyline. Kicking off with the Scribes of Fate dungeon DLC in March, this new adventure revolves around a brainy fella called Hermaeus Mora, otherwise known as the Daedric Prince of Knowledge, who protects the sort of mystical secrets that just can't be allowed to fall into the wrong hands. Sadly, that's exactly the sort of hands that will be reaching for them in Necrom. Over the course of a whopping 30 hours of new story content, Necrom will see the player heading up an investigation on behalf of the prince to figure out who's trying to steal his secrets before it's too late. In the process, you'll be traveling between different realities, venturing to the City of the Dead, and encountering the kind of cosmic horrors that H.P. Lovecraft himself would have been too terrified to write about.
The new Elder Scrolls Online chapter will be taking us down to Morrowind's eastern coast and over the Telvanni Peninsula, where of course the dark elf city of Necrom resides. Players actually haven't had the chance to set foot in this metropolis since 1994's Elder Scrolls Arena, so we expect to have a lot of fun getting reacquainted with it. Acting as a final resting place for Dark Elves and the home of House of Telvanni's mysterious mages, Necrom is a wonderfully spooky place that will have you seriously considering another goth phase. But look, that's nothing compared to how weird things are going to get when you wander over to the Prince's Realm of Oblivion, known as Apocrypha. This mind-bending place contains all sorts of strange wonders, including the very impressive sounding Endless Library, and I'm not talking about Game Pass there.
As much as we love to meet new people out there in the world of Tamriel, it's always nice to catch up with some familiar faces too. And the good news is that Necrom will provide plenty of opportunities for players to do both. Fans of murder and sarcasm will be delighted to see the beautiful darkness herself, Nariu Virion, making her return. Those of you looking to make a new connection should keep an eye out for friendly newcomers Meln the Mouthless, Scroot, and a high elf mage called Leramil the Wise. Not exactly Leramil the Humble though, are they? Of course, not everyone you encounter is gonna be so helpful. A clanless Dremora by the name of Torvarsard seems intent on learning all of the prince's juiciest secrets. Wielding a nasty looking maul and some nifty duplication abilities, he might take some stopping too.
Necrom will also give players the chance to try their luck as an Arcanist, which is a new witchy class which brings some sort of like serious Doctor Strange vibes to it. The Arcanist class opens up 3 new skill lines with some very fancy names. You've got Herald of the Tome, Curative Rune Forms, and Apocryphal Soldier. But what they all have in common is that they draw energy from Oblivion itself, in the form of a brand new resource called Crux. By using select Arcanist abilities, like pelting your enemies with rune blades for example, you'll generate Crux, which you can then spend to use and power up your other skills. This new mechanic works a bit like, think of it as like a combo bonus, and it's well worth getting to grips with because building up Crux allows you to do all sorts of weird and wonderful things. So I don't know if you've ever wanted arms as tentacles, but we're totally going to give you armed tentacles.
Nope, you can absolutely be a Cruxless Arcanist if you want to, and you'll find that the new class is still totally playable this way. However, it's hard to recommend this approach for 2 basic reasons. 1, the Crux mechanic has been designed to be as accessible as possible, so you'll probably find it easier to master than you think. And 2, it's the only way to really unleash the full potential of an Arcanist character. But all the same, this is your adventure, and you get to play however you want.
And Henry, here's why I'm so excited about the Arcanist class. It is so versatile. It can actually be used for a bunch of different playstyles. If you're like a bit of a tank who doesn't mind throwing yourself in front of danger like Gandalf staring down the Balrog, you can follow the Apocryphal Soldier skill line. You wrap yourself in a gibberish shield and use Rune Spike Ward to summon a barrier that soaks up even more damage. But then again, if you're one of those who prefer to play back up to their more gung-ho friends, you'll find that the Curative Rune Form line lets you patch up your teammates while your Eldritch powers can also be used to buff your teammates' courage, intellect, and endurance. Summoning an Apocryphal Gate is also an amazing way to ramp up your whole party's mobility. And finally, there's the Abyssal Impact ability, which you'll find on the Herald of Tome skill line. This transforms your arms into those aforementioned tentacles, which are amazing, and it's great if you want to focus on dealing damage and, thoroughly freaking everyone out at the same time.
It might take some time for players to master the finer points of this creepy new class, so the good news is that they won't be fighting by themselves. Necrom's going to introduce 2 new companions to join you in battle: Redguard Arcanist Azandar Alcibiades and Argonian Warden Sharp as Night. So whether you're playing with a bunch of other aspiring Arcanists online, or if you're going solo, you can still expect there to be spells flying all over the place.
Absolutely. As with all of the Elder Scrolls Online's expansions, there's no set order in which you have to play through the chapters, leaving you free to jump into Necrom after you buy it, even if you're a brand new player.
As we mentioned at the top, this sinister new chapter in Elder Scrolls Online history will kick off on June 20th for console. To play it, you'll need to pick up both the base game and Necrom itself. But fortunately, there's a whole bunch of ways to do that. Xbox Game Pass members will find the base game already available to them, leaving just the expansion for them to grab. But if you're determined to explore every inch of the game's vast fantasy world, there's also the option of picking up the Elder Scrolls Online collection Necrom, which includes the new expansion, as well as all 6 previous chapters, and you can even start playing them now.
Feel free to share any of your own mystical secrets down in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe before you go if you enjoyed the video. Bye bye!